Yes, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? It's Egal Talks Football. We're back again with another video. Today, we got a lot to discuss. We're gonna be having a wonderful guest for you guys, and there's a lot to talk about when it comes to Arsenal, when it comes to Mikel Arteta, when it comes to some potential transfers we're gonna be making, and of course, do me a big favor, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys haven't already done so, please hit that like button, please hit that subscribe button, and go check out Northside LDN's channel. I'm going to put it in the title. I'm going to put it in the description of this video. But before we go any further, let me introduce him. Northside, what's good, bro?
Yo, what you saying? Love having me on.
I'm good, man. I'm good. You know what it is? Ramadan has me thinking about food 24/7. So I just ate, and now I'm like calm. You know what I mean? All day I'm just thinking, when am I going to eat? When am I going to eat? Now I've eaten. I'm kind of like relaxed. And then I got to go pray after this too. But let's talk about it. First things first, you know whose birthday it is today? Our favorite manager, Mikel Arteta.
I don't care.
You don't care?
I don't care.
Yeah.
I saw it. I was like, yo, whatever, man. I mean,
Happy birthday to the manager, Everton legend, as you like to say, right?
That's true. Everton, not Arsenal, Everton, yeah.
Everton legend, former Arsenal captain. And what is it, 46th birthday? So shout out to Mikel Arteta on his 46th birthday. I'm not gonna lie, I want to talk a little 43rd actually, 43rd birthday. We got to get the facts right. So we got Super Mikel Arteta. We got to talk about it. First things first. What does Arteta have to do to make you like on side with him? Is it just win silverware?
Yeah, that's literally it. I'll become Arteta if he wins me a major honor.
Northside will become Arteta in.
Yeah, look, bro, I've always stuck to that. I said, yo, any manager, whether I like you or not, if you win me an honor, you know what I mean, a major honor, you keep your job. I think with the time that he's had, you know, FA Cup would have been okay, whatever at the start, but he has to be winning a major honor for me. And yeah, that's literally the requirement, bro. Like I look at it like this. I put the club first, didn't it? I put the club first beyond anything. So what's in the best interest of my football club? And if I don't think the manager's good enough, then I want him gone. And even if we bought a manager, we've had arguments or discussions before about managers I want. If we got in Simeone, I'd hold the same standards to Simeone. I'd hold the same standards to Ancelotti. I'd hold the same standards to Inzaghi. You know what I mean? If they had this amount of time and money spent on their project, I'd be expecting major honors as well, or I'd call for their head. That's how I am, bro. It doesn't change. Manager for manager. My standard for Arsenal is set, and it applies to whoever's the manager of this club. You must be winning. Otherwise, why did we get rid of Wenger? Should have just kept Wenger then.
The reason why we got rid of Wenger is because it was just going on for too long. It was too long of the same thing. It was 20 plus years. We won early in his campaign a lot, and then the last 10 years was pretty much the same thing for majority of it. Now, I think a lot of fans have PTSD from that era in two sense. One, in the sense that some people don't want to back Arteta too long because they feel like it's Arsene Wenger 2.0. And in another sense that some people were so disheartened by Arsenal at the end of that Arsene Wenger era, beginning of the Emery era, that they want to give Mikel Arteta a longer leash because they feel like he has been part of the transformation. And I will be honest, Northside, a lot of younger fans have not seen the success we've seen, so they are a little bit more attached to Arteta, as he is probably their best manager they've seen it since Arsene Wenger, obviously. They've not seen George Graham. They've not seen Arsenal win things besides Arsene. So Arteta coming in kind of was like a breath of fresh air. And even you at times had to be like, you know what, this guy might have some good ideas and he's getting the team in the right direction.
No, I never thought it would work because he was too inexperienced and unproven. And I never thought that somebody that was, because when you look at number twos in football, it doesn't work that just because you're under a great manager, you're a great manager. Like Mourinho had Villas-Boas. How did that work out for Chelsea? Do you get what I mean? You know, Fergie always changed his background staff, his, you know, second in command, and they didn't go on to be amazing managers. It doesn't necessarily mean because you're next to a great manager, which Pep is, that means that you're going to be a great manager. I always wanted a proven manager. I think, like you said, it went on too long with Wenger. 10 years of stagnation. We were just getting top four. But then you look at the last 3 years of us getting second, and it looks stagnant to me as well. We're getting kicked out of the cups. Is getting stagnant. We continue to do that year in, year out. We're getting kicked out the cups. Oh, pick a cup. Pick a cup. We've been in Europa, got kicked out. We've been in Champions League, got kicked out. We've been Carabao, FA Cup, got kicked out. We're still not getting over the line. And the most worrying thing is the glaring things that we need doesn't get addressed. I've been you know that me and you had multiple discussions. I've been complaining about the squad for a long time. So now that we're having a mass clear out, I said that the bench ain't good enough. When people were telling me that we've got versatility, I said
that's your favorite line, you know? If there was something you'd put on the t-shirt, it would be the bench ain't good enough. That would be your merch.
It's not. The team in itself ain't good enough. Let's be real. We still need a proper striker to start, to bench Havertz, because he's not good enough to get us over the line. We still need a left winger to hold down that place and actually give us anywhere near what we get from Saka on the right-hand side. We need a number 10 that will turn up in big games. Let's be honest. Partey's up, for me, our best midfielder, and yet he's going. I don't think anyone else in the midfield offers what Partey brings. Be able to win the ball back and also, be able to start and pick up good passes and start a counter-attack. We still need a left back to hold down that spot. Lewis Skelly, very talented, but like we saw against PSV, still a lot to be learned in terms of his temperament in the game. You know, he got away with it in that game. Other games he may get caught. Very good talent, just like Ethan. But both of them, I wouldn't say, in a final they're going to turn up, because they're still learning their trade. Just like
let me bring it back to Arteta quickly. I'm reading this right here. It's saying Arteta football community celebrates his birthday, reflecting on transformative tenure at Arsenal Football Club. Would you not agree that it's been a transformative tenure? He's been able to win out of 270 something games. He's had a 61% win percentage, which is up there with the likes of Arsene Wenger and George Graham as one of the most successful managers in Arsenal's recent history, of course. And what you're going to say is no silverware. I know that's the first thing you're going to say, but has he not had a transformative impact at Arsenal, culturally, performance-wise?
He's made us competitive. That's the biggest compliment I can give him. He's made us competitive. But making a team competitive only gives you so much credit, you know? At the end of the day, you need to get over the line. Brendan Rodgers was moved on when he wasn't able to get Liverpool over the line. This is what happens when you're at a big club. If you can't get over the line, you have to be moved on. Ultimately, we judge managers on getting over the line. Nobody can't tell me he hasn't been given the power over the squad, because he was being given the power over the squad to bring in players that fit his style. He's been given time and he's been given money. So it comes to a point where you can't avoid accountability for what he's created. You know, no one can take away that he's made a team that is challenging. But this season, I'm sorry, man. Like this was the clear season he should have. If this project was as great as people told me it was, this would have been the season we should have turned up. You know, and the fact that we have a bench of players that we don't really rate just proves my point. Yes, we had injuries, but those players that we're using off the bench a lot more than we would have if we had our starting 11. Proves my point that the bench ain't good enough. When you're relying on Sterling, when you're relying on Martinelli out of form, Trossard out of form, you're relying on Ethan that should be learning his trade and not being put under so much pressure. And he's around players that are dropping stinkers like Jorginho and other players. When you got Kivior that can't hold down the centre-back position, Timber can't hold down the centre-back position. Very good on the wings, just like Ben White, but not as a centre-back. When you've got Neto as a backup goalkeeper, that was horrendous in the game that we saw him. It's not good enough, bro.
When you mention all these players that are not good enough, don't you think Arteta getting these players who are not good enough to challenge to the final day of the season against Man City last year is not like, wow, if he's doing this with this, we might as well give him better players and see what he can actually win with them? Because I don't think Arteta is that far away from getting Arsenal over the line, because I think this team is missing pieces, just like you say. But even with the players missing, I think this season shows more than anything, Mikel Arteta has been able to find ways to find solutions. Now, he hasn't been able to win it, and I agree with you. He needs to get over the line. And if he doesn't get Northside, I'll give you this. If Mikel Arteta doesn't get over the line next season, even if he has injuries or red cards or whatever, there's no more hiding. There's no more excuses. There's no more tether or rope to give him anymore.
Are you going to stick to that, though? Because you said
At this point, it's not only about sticking about it. I'm pretty sure this is a unanimous thing across the board. I don't think anyone can say any more hiding for Arteta. Because if we go and sign a winger and a striker, no matter what the level of that striker or winger is, that is who the club has deemed the final piece to the attacking puzzle. And we've then invested in the defense, the midfield, and the attack. At that point, I can no longer say Arteta doesn't have.
Can I ask you this?
To win.
You just asked me that, yeah, about the players. If we give him better players, yeah. Do you know why I don't have faith in him? He lost faith in Zinchenko that couldn't defend. And I was always saying, Zinchenko, he can't defend. Now he's lost faith in him. Who does he go and recruit this summer? Calafiori, another defender, 1v1, gets cooked, out of position. Just like Zinchenko, very good going forward, defensively. Shocking. I remember the Leicester game. There was a cross that came in, Zinchenko, Calafiori's side. He's ball watching, and then they literally smack it off the post. And I'm like, well, you haven't upgraded that position because you've got another left back that his main strength is going forward than defensive. Skelly wasn't something that he necessarily planned for because you never know how good a youth player is and how he's going to step up. Yeah, you gave him a chance, but the problem that I had is you invested in Calafiori where you could have put that money in a striker to then see that the guy coming through the academy is better than the guy that you got. Then you go get Moreno that is ineffective in the midfield. I think he's shocking defensively. I think he's not... For me, in terms of DMs, it goes Partey, Rice, then Moreno.
And I ask you a
tune out of him out of position. He gets a tune out of him out of position as a striker. That as much as I can say, okay, you've got a tune out of him, he's not a natural striker. So for me, now that Partey looks like he's going to leave... Hold on. Let me let my point, and then I won't interrupt you. Once again, you buy Mikel Moreno, that is a downgrade from Rice and Partey. I don't even think that's even a debate. He's a downgrade on both of them. Quality-wise, he's not of the same quality. You could probably say he stays fitter than Partey, but when Partey's on it, he's better than Moreno. So that's another downgrade. You go and get Sterling when you could have went and got Kudus or other players like that. A Sterling that even when you look at GA, for people that love GA, his GA was down. He wasn't performing. He failed the eye test and his GA was down. He hasn't been performing for a long time, Sterling. And you go and get him as a backup to Saka. Then you persist with Martinelli that's been dropping stinkers. And to be honest, has never been at the same level as Saka. His output's never been even clear. And you continue with him. You then have Jesus. Yeah, you don't go and get another striker. You've got Jesus that's been injury prone for the last 2 seasons. And then you run Havertz into the ground. So when I'm looking at your player ID, you get Kivior, that's supposed to be a great defender. And the last couple of transfer windows, he's always linked with a move away because he's been underwhelming. He's been absolutely underwhelming. He did a little run last season when we brought him in for Liverpool. Against Bayern, he was exposed. Not good enough. And this is the problem, yeah? There's too many players that it's now time to get over the line, that we've got Champions League football and everybody said we can get world-class players. And your player ID, for me, is leaving a lot to be desired. And the last thing I'll say before I shut up and let you go, yeah? The last thing I'll say, bro, the last thing I'll say, yeah? Bro, look at Sam. The last thing I'll say, yeah, is, bro, why? Look at the decision-making. This manager's played Partey at right back this season. This guy has played Moreno in the 10 this season. Yeah, when Odegaard first got injured, you played Moreno and Trossard there when Ethan was the natural successor. I didn't want Ethan to be second choice number 10. But even if you're not going to play Ethan, play Zinchenko. Zinchenko is a natural 10. Look at how he played against PSV. Do you know what I mean? So when Mikel Arteta tells me he's going to get the best out of players, how are you getting the best out of players when what the best out of players is playing Partey right back, is playing Moreno in the 10, is playing Trossard in the 10? Is that you getting the most out of players? So this is why I lose faith in him. Not only the player ID, but it's also the way when he comes under the cosh. Yes, Moreno has given you a couple of goals, but I knew he's not going to be consistent. Overall, when you've moved players around to play different positions, you've not got the best out of them. Like I said, so this is why I don't have faith in him, because every single time I look at a situation, I say, yo, Odegaard's injured, Zinchenko or Ethan should be playing 10. He takes how many games? 5, 6, 7 games to make the call that I'm telling him to make. This is why I don't trust him, bro. And on top of that, his in-game management is poor, man, especially when in the crunch end. It's really, really poor. That is why I don't trust him. It's not because I just want to be against Arteta. He's given me enough ammunition to be like, Look at the decisions that you're making. And how come you have a lack of foresight that playing Ben White injured, Declan Rice injured, Havertz into the ground, Saka into the ground? You can't understand that that's going to put us into problems. You can't understand that Odegaard getting injured, your number 10 position is looking weak. You don't understand that? That's shocking to me, bro. 5 years deep into a job, that is shocking to me. So
I hear that, and the reason why I was so urging to try to jump in is because you ended up answering the question. Good thing. You're not only angry about the recruitment, but you do realize Arteta is not the only person who has all the say in the recruitment. I do believe he wanted Rafinha, he wanted Vlahovic, he wanted Isak, he wanted Bruno Guimaraes. So did Edu. There's certain times the club people at the board level just say this is not worth what we value a player, and we're not going to get the deal done. Isak, 15 million was the difference between what we were willing to pay and what they were looking to sell him for in that January. This January, Ollie Watkins, 20 million was the difference between what we wanted Ollie Watkins for and what Aston Villa were looking to sell him for in January. The club sometimes leaves the manager and the recruitment team in a sticky situation. And I don't think it's always down to Arteta or thing. But I do agree with you. There is man management issues in the times. There is moments where he plays players and signs players that you scratch your head. Why is this player not playing? Why is this player playing? And I do think there is moments where he makes mistakes, but everyone does that. We see Pep Guardiola, who's the greatest manager in the world, who didn't play a DM in a Champions League final versus Chelsea, and it cost them.
But this is the thing, yeah. I've never once said it's solely on Arteta. Never. I've not been happy with this ownership, because as much as I will give it to the ownership that they've given him enough money to succeed, and they have been giving him enough money to succeed. 750 million pounds is enough money to at least win us one major honor. It is enough, because I've seen Liverpool do it. I've seen Chelsea, Conte be there and not have all the pieces he needs and win a trophy. So I've seen it done in the Premier League. Yeah. The problem I have is this ownership. Yeah. My gripe with this ownership is, why did they give him a new contract this season? This was the perfect season to say, do you know what, Arteta? Your contract's coming up. Fight for your next contract. Yeah. Fight for your next contract. Just like all the players have to fight for their contracts. You fight for your contract. You've been underwhelming. We've bottled the league title twice. This is your third attempt in a title race. Win it. But what do? We reward failure, like we did with Nketiah and Reece Nelson. We reward failure. Here's a new contract. So now, if we do want to move him on, which we should be doing, now we've got to pay him out the contract. The ownership, for me, it just seems like as long as we get top four, they're happy. And the thing is, yeah, why can't this manager spot players? Yeah, okay, let's go with your reasoning, yeah? We can't afford Isak, we can't afford this. Okay, Dovbyk was 40 M's, yeah? Get the best of the rest at least and show us that you know that what areas we need to strengthen. Go get a Dovbyk. Go get a Santiago Jimenez.
We don't know if the Ukrainian lad would have done well. We don't know.
But show ambition though, Egal. This is what I'm saying. At least if you strengthen in the areas that we need to, we can judge the players after.
Okay, how about this? Now that we're not looking at Edu making the decisions and we're potentially bringing in the Italian Don from Atletico Madrid, Andrea Berta, does he give you hope? Does he give you faith in the direction we're headed in? Having somebody who has the CV, the experience, somebody who's won 7 major honors as a director at Atletico Madrid, who's worked and built a team and rebuilt a team and won 2 league titles almost 7 or 8 years apart.
And who was the coach when he won
Simeone.
Oh, the Simeone that I said I wanted. Now everyone's talking about sporting director CV. Why does the sporting director need a CV and experience? And look how good he's done at previous.
No, I'm saying you want Arteta to have
that experience. No, nobody can do better than Super Mikel Arteta. That's where I see hypocrisy, because we can't praise a sporting director based on trophies, which is the right thing, and then people justify to me, oh, but Arteta, he's done nothing. He's the man. We have to stick by him. We have to believe in him, and he's gonna. No, if you want a sporting director with credentials, why don't you want a manager with credentials? Because Berta brought in the players. Who managed the team? Who made in-game decisions? Who put out the tactics in the lineup? Simeone. So if everyone's so happy with Berta, go get me Simeone then. Because for everything you're praising Berta, you have to praise Simeone. You have to. How could, bro, they're both working simultaneously together. So if man want to be gassing me Berta, which I think is a good sporting director, yeah, go get me the manager that also got him over the line. There we go. Done. We don't need to go through this process. But to answer your question,
it's not that simple, unfortunately.
well, it's not that simple. But at the end of the day, yeah, like at the end of the day, like you said, we've been waiting a long time to win a major honor. Yeah. And at the end of the day, I don't think this team isn't a team that Simeone couldn't work with. We've got a lot of defensive players. We've got a good defense. We've got some good players. We need to build upon that. He can work with that. He's worked under a budget at Atletico, not the richest, not the poorest. The same situation at Arsenal. So why couldn't
5 years? 5 years of Arteta. Has it been failure or good foundation?
Huh?
Do you think Arteta's built a team for a team of failures or a good foundation for the next manager?
Ultimately, a team of failures. We do have quality within a lot of failures, but I was saying this during the season. We've built a team full of defensive players to hold on to a lead. We don't have a bench that can affect the game to go get the 3 points. Outside of Ethan, nobody comes off that bench and is a game changer or can go and get goals.
Okay.
And do you know what I mean? So I think Berta's a very, very good sporting director. I actually praise that. I weren't toxic and negative for that whole show that I did against for Berta because I was happy with the appointment. I think he's got the criteria. I think he's got the experience. I like the fact that he's a winner. So I like that from the club. I had not one bad word to say about that. The only thing I will say is we don't fully know 100% why Edu left. There's rumors. Believe whatever rumor you want. The rumor that for me raised an eyebrow was Edu said there was rumors out there that Edu was unhappy with the fact that Arteta was overruling decisions and players and transfers that he wanted to bring into the club. And this is my problem. If that is true, and that is what's going on at Arsenal, then that applies to Berta. If that does happen, why are we even bothering getting a sporting director? Because a sporting director should have the power to do what he needs to do. He should be in line with the club's vision for the team and how the team's going to be set up. And we should be backing and trusting that sporting director. Otherwise, he's literally a puppet there receiving a wage for no reason. Arteta's in charge of the team, but we need to be given, I want Berta to be given power to get players over the line. I like that.
Unfortunately, I think it's too early this summer, but going forward, I think he'll definitely have more of a hand to play with the transfers. And
Nah. This summer he has to have power, Egal. He's got more credentials.
He would be walking through the door, analyzing what we've already set up for this summer. And is he just going to put it all to the bin and say, I want this guy, I want this guy, I don't want all these guys that you guys are looking at?
Of course he's not going to get all the players that he wants, but he should be given enough power to make a substantial impact on this team. And he has enough experience to say, listen, you man may trust Arteta, I've got over the line, innit? And here's my CV and my trophy. So I'm not just speaking. Yeah, this is my body of work. You've brought me in to do a job. Now let me do my job. Arteta, the way you manage the players on you, you'll be judged on that. The players that I want to bring in, listen, there's certain players that are not good enough. We need to move them on. Most of them are on the bench. Most of them, anyway. So apart from Ethan, most of them on the bench anyway. Most of the fans don't really care. They don't care if Jorginho goes, if Kivio goes, if Zinchenko, Tini already knows going. Do you know what I mean?
Let me answer a point that you made earlier. You've made this point numerous times. You don't want bench player signings. You want starter signings. If we go get Joao Garcia, best believe he's a backup keeper that has the prowess to become a starting keeper. He might cost us anywhere between 15 to 25 million euros, which is decent money for a backup keeper. Now that is better than Neto, for example, in the case that Raya gets injured. Then you look at the defense. You said it yourself, if Kieran Tierney, Zinchenko, or Kivior go, if all those guys go, we might need somebody else to be thrown in there also. So that's where I'm looking at. I'm looking at the scouts saying, go find me somebody up and coming to come into this team that can grow into that position and become like a starter in the case Saliba or Gabriel leave in the future, that is now able to rotate and learn from under these guys. That's why when I said 15, 20 million for backups, I only meant those two positions. Everywhere else, we're going to have to invest decent amount of money. Striker position, you're not finding nobody for 15 million, bro. You have to invest heavy. So this is where I wanted to talk to you next. Okay. In the striker position, what are you looking for? Do you want the Osimhens? Do you want the Gyökereses? Do you want Sesko? Isak, can we be honest? Doesn't look like we're going to get him. That's the reality. From my perspective, at least. I don't know if the club is willing to spend that kind of money and also invest in the other areas properly. 150 million on one player, I just think we need to forget about that. And that's just me not even deluding myself into thinking we're going to get Isak. As for what we could get done, if we go back in for Ollie Watkins and pay 50 million in the summer for Ollie Watkins, would you be happy?
No, I don't want Ollie Watkins, no.
Sesko?
No, hell no. I'll be fuming.
Osimhen?
No. I wouldn't be fuming, but no, not for me.
So who do you want?
For me, Gyökeres or Isak. I'm not fully convinced with Osimhen. I don't mind being proven wrong. If we got him, I'm not going to be fuming. But I'm not completely sold on Osimhen personally. I want Gyökeres or I want Isak. And I don't really care about the money because at the end of the day, yeah, we need, if that means that, look, nobody cares about price tag when the player comes in and performs. We don't sit here talking about how expensive Declan Rice was. We just like the fact that he's been a consistent
Do
part.
Newcastle need to sell though, just to push back?
For me, we have to sell Martinelli. Trossard has to go, obviously. Zinchenko has to go. Kivior has to go. Jorginho has to go. That's already 5 players. Who else needs to go? Obviously, Sterling's going to go back. Sell Jesus. Sell Havertz. I'd rather get rid of Havertz and go get a cheaper option. I don't know if you could go and get...
Why are you selling all the players that could potentially be squad depth?
All these players ain't good enough. Jorginho ain't good enough. Zinchenko ain't good enough. I don't care about squad depth. I want quality, bro. If he has to work with a smaller team, then it is what it is. At the end of the day, we've got Kenny that's come through. We've got Ethan. We've still got players coming back from loan. That for me, we
Can
have
I
to
rewind you quickly? I want to know how many people you want out and how many people you want in. So let's look at the actual squad because you named so many people. I'm confused. You basically want the whole squad out except for the players you rate. That's
how badly he's built the bench. That's how badly he's built the bench.
Okay, let me show you what I mean. So, because from what I took, first of all, goalkeepers, Raya, Setford, third keeper, and we get a new second keeper. Fair, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Defense. Let's be honest. Mazzucchelli, Saliba, basically everyone below here, everyone below this row is going to be staying. I think 1, 2, 3.
So Calafiori.
Potentially 4 could be gone. Calafiori just walked in the door. He's not going. Realistically, even if you want to sell him, we're not looking at it from what you want to do. We're looking at it from actual.
So why are you asking me? You're asking me, man.
No. I'm going to ask you what you could bring in, but outgoings, let's be honest. Calafiori just walked in. We're not going to sell him tomorrow.
Well, you never know. Put him up. Show that you want to sell him. You never know. You never know.
Bro, you wanted Ben White gone when he first walked in the door. Sometimes you got to give players some time.
I don't. Nah. For me, I don't see where Calafiori fits into this squad, to be honest. You could use him as a winger. That's the best option. He's
22 years old. It's his first season in the Premier League. I'm not saying he's finished.
Abe's got nothing to do with it. ESR was young and he didn't make it. Patino was young. Aziz was young.
Defenders grow at a different rate, bro.
And at this rate, this guy's going to go down the same road as Zinchenko. But okay, let's just stop the Calafiori talk just to move it along. Zinchenko gone, Tomiyasu gone, Tini gone. Yeah. So we need.
What about Kivior? You keep him?
He's got to go. 100%. He's got to go because now you've got Ben White and you've got Timber there. You've got Skelly. Do you know what I mean? So even if you was to say, okay, Timber starts and we was rotating Kivior with that the left-hand side of our defense, now you got Skelly, bro, and he's inferior to all of them. So he's got to go. And as a centre-back, he's been horrendous.
At least we need seven minimum defenders, I would say. So I would keep this whole bottom row. But this whole Mazzucchelli, Kivior.
We need a centre back though, Egal, because there's none of these players you look at. Yeah, if there's an injury to any of our centre backs, none of them are good enough.
That's why what I would do is I would go and get like a 22, 21-year-old centre back to cover, and to also learn the ropes from the likes of Saliba and Gabriel.
You don't even need to just get a good centre back here that can challenge. Do you know what I mean? It like just get a good centre back that can actually challenge. And when
you
we
saying like drop 50 million on a centre back?
yeah, we have to, bro. If we get like, look what happened to Saka. Yeah, if that happens to Gabriel and Saliba this time next season, you'll be saying, why didn't we get a centre back? This is the hindsight that we need to get.
I would expect Ben White and Timber to be able to rotate, or Calafiori to be able to come in.
Who? Timber.
I would expect who we have
Yeah.
to be able to come in. Either Timber come in on the right, Ben White come in on the right centre back, or Calafiori or Kivior be able to come in and out.
They can't play there, but they've not been convincing why they're playing there, bro. Let's be honest, man.
That's true. But let's be honest. We're comparing two of the best centre backs in the league to options that we have. You're never going to be able to find amazing bench options to the point where every single player on the bench is as good as the starter. There's going to be areas where you're going to have weaknesses, and that's just the reality.
Yeah, but the drop off is too drastic, Egal. That's the main problem. The drop off is dramatically inferior, just like Saka and Sterling this season. The drop off is way too big to justify.
We got a bigger issue in the midfield and the attack. When you look at the midfield and the attack, we got a bigger issue. And the bigger issue is both Partey and Jorginho are leaving. We're going to need at least one to two people coming in for them. That's simple, right? We're going to have Jesus, forget about him, he's gone. Sterling, he's not even there. That's two already we're going to need to replace. I think the whole bottom row, Saka, Martinelli, and Kai are going to stay. And in the best of both worlds, both Martinelli and Kai Havertz are options off the bench next season.
Listen, for me, go get Mbeumo. I think he's valued about 40, 50 M's. Go get me Mbeumo. Go get me Wirtz and go get me Barella. If you put Declan Rice as the 6, you put Barella there next to him, you got Wirtz up front, and Odegaard, you have to fight for your position because you have
You're not getting a striker?
No, and I'll still go out there and get Gyökeres. That to me will show that this club is ambitious, bro.
So you think we can get Florian Wirtz to be covering the midfield and start over Odegaard, for example?
Or get Baena, Alex Baena. I think he's got a 50 million euro release clause. That's probably about 40 million pounds. Very talented player. Alex Baena. He plays in La Liga.
Interesting.
Yeah, very good player. Very good player.
What about the players we're linked to?
Juventus, but he's Portuguese, constant size, 22 years old, very good player. But at the moment, he's not performing, and we need somebody that's going to be performing week in, week out. But Alex Baena for me, Alex Baena and Mbeumo, go and get me. We go if you don't get Wirtz, yeah. Alex Baena.
What about
Alex Baena, Mbeumo, Gyökeres, and go get me Barella.
What about Zubimendi?
Zubimendi, I'm not completely convinced by.
What makes you not convinced by him?
I've not seen enough of him to say that. All these players that I'm talking about, I've seen a lot more from them than I have from Zubimendi. So if he came in just like Calafiori and Timber, I'd give him a chance. If I don't like what I see, I'll call it out. When we got Calafiori, I didn't have an opinion on it because I didn't see him play. No, hell no. Because I know
hell no.
Hell no. Zee.
Hell no, strong language.
Zee, yeah, he's got a channel. Big up Zee. He's a Bayern Munich fan. And he watches the Bundesliga week in, week out. He said, yo, this guy, he's rubbish. He goes, trust me, he's rubbish. Week out, week out. He said he's rubbish. He ain't good enough. He ain't going to do nothing for you guys.
Honestly,
so it is a gamble. Year in, year out, I'm going to go with what he's saying. He said he ain't good enough, bro.
It is a big gamble. I hear it. But hell knows. Very strong language. This is basically when we went for Isak, it was a gamble, but we never ended up going for him. Newcastle ended up getting him, and look at where he's gone to. We could be looking at Sesko in a year or two's time, and he could be £100 million player. We don't know. That's
we could be stuck with the light skin in Ketia.
All right, next, Nico Williams.
Bro, come on, man. Nah, it's not ambitious, bro. And your word,
Nico Williams is not ambitious.
Yeah, you said there were certain signings you said you wanted, and if you don't get those signings, you would say it's not an ambitious signing.
Nico Williams is viewed as a potential Vinicius replacement if Real Madrid sell Vini. He's viewed as a potential Rafinha replacement if Barcelona sell Rafinha. He's viewed as a Liverpool potential incoming signing for Diaz if he leaves. But Arsenal we're sticking our nose up to Nico Williams. I think Nico Williams is a quality player, and Liga has told me he's not good. He watches La Liga, but Remedy, who watches La Liga and watched him live, tells me this guy could be the second coming of Mane.
Bro, I don't like when players have these tags on them, Egal. Most of the time, it doesn't work out well.
He's already delivered trophies for his country and for his club.
Another one, I don't watch him week in, week out. If you want me to be objective, I don't watch him week in, week out. I haven't heard good things. I haven't watched him week in, week out. I would prefer to go and get, players like Mbeumo, Alex Baena, players that I've seen more of.
This guy is better than Mbeumo. He might not be as good as a finisher as Mbeumo, but he's better than Mbeumo.
We need a finisher, bro. Because let's be honest, we need.
And he plays on the left-hand side. Mbeumo mostly plays on the right.
If you're telling me, which I agree with you, because I just want Arteta out now, yeah. Next season he has to win. So if you're looking at it from the perspective that the manager has to deliver, you need players that you're more convinced are going to deliver right now.
I think Nico Williams can be a touchline winger. I'm not a tactical, but I think he can be a touchline winger. He can create a lot better than both Trossard and Martinelli. He has a better pass on him than both Trossard and Martinelli, and he can find himself on the inside channel, scoring goals, coming at the back post, getting those tap-ins. Plus, he has, that eye for goal from outside the box. We don't have that for a lot of players. He has that. That difference maker from just out of nowhere can just pop one out of nowhere. Who do we have in our team that can pop one out of nowhere from the left wing? Nobody, bro.
No, I agree that we need to strengthen that. I'm just not convinced that is the player. That's all I'm saying to you.
All right. I'm not going to convince you on something you haven't watched. I think we both need to invest in Y-Scout because it's going to be an interesting summer transfer window when it comes to signings. There's one more thing. Who's the next one? Would you go and sign that kid, the Norway kid, the Norwegian wonder kid?
I don't want no wonder kids, bro. I just want the real deal. I don't want no wonder kids. I'm done with wonder kids. You know what I mean? I need players that I'm convinced are going to produce right now. Do you know what I mean? Lookman's a good shout. I like Lookman. Turned up in Europe as well to win for Atalanta. So, somebody like that, bro. We need players that are going to move the bar. You know what I mean? And I think looking at these wonder kids and that, let's be honest, man, this ain't phase one. We can't be looking at phase one players in phase 5. That I'm not excusing. So Sesko, this knee pan guy, nah, bro. I'm not hearing any of that. We need players that are going to produce right now. So,
all right. Talking about players that are going to produce right now, Bukayo Saka is coming back for the Real Madrid game. What do you think about that? Bukayo Saka is set to
change anything. We're still going to get kicked out. It doesn't change anything. If anything, I feel like he's being rushed back. And the reason I feel like that is because this manager has a previous with this. Playing players injured or not fully fit.
I agree with you.
So I look at it based on how he's managed this team, even just this season. I don't believe that Saka is fully fit to play. I think Arteta is feeling the pressure. Like when the press conferences, when they were asking him about strikers, I think he feels the pressure, bro. And I think he knows that he's being heavily questioned now about the lack of...
Would you rather Arteta not play Saka for the rest of the season?
Yeah, because I don't want to ruin the player's career. And I feel like at Arsenal, we, as a fan base, we have the habit of risking it all and then talking about it later. Why didn't we do this? Why didn't we do that? At the end of the day, Saka, I don't think is fully fit. Even if we get Saka back, let's just say, argument's sake, even if you get Saka back and let's just say he's 90% fit, yeah, it's not going to be the Saka that we saw at the start of the season. This is the Saka that's been out, that's going to have to pick up form. You don't just bring a player back into the biggest game of the season and think that he's going to play 10 out of 10. Players need momentum. Players need game time. And I just don't feel like it's putting the player's health in first place. I feel like we're risking his health. And imagine if he gets a recurring injury. All of a sudden, you F up his career. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right, bro. It's a risk. It's a very, very big risk that may not even pay off.
I think Bukayo Saka is the only person in this team that if he was to come back from injury, we could even utilize him just the threat that he is from set pieces alone. Plus, on the right-hand flank, how much work rate he's going to be doing, we're going to have to limit that. We won't have to ask him to do the same level of defensive work as he was doing previously. Maybe try to get more Try to get more work rate out of Odegaard to cover on that side and maybe have him press from the front instead. But really and truly, we don't know how fit or available he is. I do agree that we are kind of getting him back as quick as possible for this Real Madrid game, but also maybe he could have been ready a couple weeks prior. We don't know. One thing I do know is if it means Bukayo Saka can help us win this game versus Real Madrid and we can go further in the Champions League this year, there's a good opportunity. We're in a good side. If we beat Real Madrid, I back us to go and beat either PSG or what do you call it, Aston Villa. And you might say that's crazy. Why do you back us to beat Aston Villa? Unai Emery's done well before, but it's a Champions League. It's a knockout competition. If your defense is there and your defense is solid, you can win over two legs. You just need to nick a couple goals here and there. And if Bukayo Saka is our best attacking player, we need him.
Has Emery not already knocked us out in Europe?
Yeah, he has, but with different teams, different circumstances. This is our best defensive team.
And what did that mean? What did that mean against Man United in the Cup? What did that mean against 3 games against Newcastle? What did that mean? You know, like we talk about it like, oh, okay.
But what about this factor? The fact that Arsenal has never conceded more than 2 goals over any game the whole calendar year.
And the fact is, even with this great defense, we've been kicked out for teams like Olympiacos, Villarreal. We've been knocked out to West Ham last season.
Olympiacos and Villarreal never played Saliba and Gabriel.
We have been, this great defense held 2 goals against Bournemouth. This great defense, wasn't good enough to get us the win against Inter that only scored 1 goal against us, still beat us.
Penalty.
Doesn't matter, bro. Doesn't matter. This is what I'm saying. The defense is great, but it's one aspect of the team. You can't just focus on that aspect of the team and base your argument based on that, because the midfield still isn't good enough. The attack still isn't good enough, and even so with this defense, and this is a fact, this defense this season has got cooked by Garnacho, has got cooked by Hudson-Odoi, has been out-jumped by Bowen, has been out-jumped by...
And it's still been the best Premier League defense and one of the best in the Champions League.
Okay. We'll see.
We've still been one of the best.
Those are the facts that I'm saying. It's not my opinion. It's the facts.
I know, but bro, you hold Arsenal to such a high level where you're judging.
I hold them to the standards that they were when I grew up.
No, you're judging this team more harsh than the rest of the world, bro. Arsenal has the best defense in the Champions League and in the league. And that is just a fact.
Okay. And with that best defense in the league, are we going to win the league?
Unfortunately, we're not.
Are we going to win any of the cups, the English cups?
Unfortunately, we're not going to win any of the domestic cups.
Okay.
We're still in the Champions League.
And now we're in a competition.
If we beat Real Madrid, we could go on to potentially win this cup.
So we don't have the mentality nor the team to win Carabao, but I'm supposed to believe that we do have that mentality and that grit and the players to deliver the Champions League. Can you understand why?
Forget about delivering the Champions League right now. Can we beat Real Madrid? That's the real question.
No, bro, because at the end of the day, then it's irrelevant. Even if we beat Real Madrid and get kicked out in the next stage, you think I'm celebrating that? We didn't win it.
Why do you immediately assume we're going to get knocked out by the next team?
Because I'm basing it based on 5 years.
We beat PSG convincingly this season. We've beaten Aston Villa at their own ground, and we drew to Aston Villa at our ground.
We faced. Just the same way you said it was a different circumstance when I said last season we got kicked out the cups to Liverpool and West Ham. You said we're different this season. PSG are different now to the team that we faced.
Oh, so what's the difference again? The attack, right?
What, for PSG?
Yeah,
the way they pressed.
Oh, so
the way that they were combining.
That only applies.
They are playing a lot better, and they're playing better than us.
That only applies to PSG when they're improving their team, but when Arsenal are missing players due to the injuries, that doesn't count. Do you realize how much of a miss Jesus and Havertz have been?
Man's talking like we haven't had these players available the last couple of campaigns and we ain't got over the line in any competition.
No, I hear that. But
why would it be different now? We didn't strengthen in those positions.
1 second. Just because you didn't win last time when you had some of these guys available doesn't mean when they are injured this season, it doesn't change things. Of course it does.
Yeah, it gives you less of a chance.
Look at Man City. Man City won league titles.
But bro,
Man City won league titles with injuries in the past. Why couldn't they do it this year?
Because their players have regressed. That's the difference. Our players have never got over the line. It's not even about regressing. They've never been of the level. It's a completely different argument. You're talking, of course, if you have certain players available, your chances are higher, but you're making it seem like it's a lot higher. It's not.
I do think it's a lot higher.
Okay, so my point is right. It doesn't make a difference because if Jesus is available or Havertz is available, these are still the same man that go missing every single time we're knockout stages of competitions and don't turn up. So why am I going to believe they're going to turn up now? Why? Based on what? On hope?
Let me read the super chat. Let me read the super chat. Why is the glass full for you, empty for everybody else? Oh, he's talking to me. Listen, I'm not saying glass half full for Arsenal, glass half empty for everybody else. I do believe Man City will strengthen. I do believe Liverpool will try to keep both Van Dijk and Salah. But I think Arsenal, going into next season, have a lot more of a stable ship at this moment in time compared to Man City, who have a lot of work to do in the summer, and Liverpool, who need to get two of their best players signed to new contracts and still need to go further strengthen their team. Now, do you agree with this super chat? Do you think I'm too much glass half full for Arsenal and glass half empty for everybody else?
I think so. I feel like if the way you talk about Liverpool, if we won the league and everybody else had injuries, you would have just said, why can't people just give us credit? I genuinely believe you'd say that.
You know what? I wouldn't care. Huh? I would say that's what it took for us to win the league. Fair play, because the same thing happened to Liverpool a couple years prior.
Yeah. So you would say, listen, it is what it is. They didn't plan for their injuries properly. They didn't get the players in. We've won. Yeah. People have to give us the credit because we turned up when everybody else fell off. You would want credit. That is why I don't like when you discredit at times, or it sounds like you're discrediting Liverpool, because if the shoe was on the other foot, you would say that's not our problem. And it ain't our problem. It ain't our problem. If Arsenal and everybody else fell off, yeah.
You are 100% right. But the thing is, when I caveat that it's not their problem that we are injured, but it also has benefited them, it is put into a bracket of excuses. And I don't think I'm making an excuse when I'm stating a real fact. Same way you're not criticizing when you're stating something factual that's negative about a player.
No, but you've said things like this. This is why, because you've said things like, if we had a fully fit squad, we win the league this season. I disagree with you.
Because I believe that. I'm giving an opinion at that point.
I disagree with you because there's nothing that we've done to strengthen our weaknesses. We have not strengthened our weaknesses this season.
And Liverpool haven't either. They've just been able to stay fit.
No, they got a manager that actually knows how to coach getting over the line. That's what we don't have. And then you discredited him on my channel yesterday saying, oh, but what has he done? I won the Eredivisie. You're downplaying his achievement. It doesn't matter what he done in the Eredivisie because guess what? He's proven himself to be a winning manager in the Prem. When the opposition are weaker, he's taken advantage. That's a good manager. Why can't Arteta do that? Why is it that Arteta can't do that? I don't understand that, bro. I don't understand.
He wasn't able to do that because he had record-breaking Mo Salah on Liverpool going up against them, record-breaking Erling Haaland going against him, Ballon d'Or Rodri. Like we've gone up against 3 legendary seasons.
Okay, and this is why when you talk about price tag, why I tell you go get the quality because this is what it takes.
I know, but then when we go get quality, you say Declan Rice is shit.
No, I never said Declan Rice is shit.
No, but maybe not you, but like some people do say that.
I think he's overhyped. But overhyped doesn't mean you're shit. That doesn't make sense. Overhyped just means that the conversation around you, is been put up to a pedestal that I don't believe you're at that level that your pedestal's at. But it doesn't mean you're shit. Declan Rice ain't shit. He's a good player. He's just a limited player. Just like Aubameyang was a limited player. But I wouldn't say Aubameyang shit. But could he link up like Kane? No, he couldn't. But that's it, man.
All right, let me ask you some quick questions. First things first. Do any Arsenal players get into a Real Madrid combined 11? Because obviously you've seen the video that's gone viral 100 times. It's annoying, but
no,
Real Madrid combined 11 is going to be going around every day.
No, not for me. No,
play them again.
No, maybe. Do you know what?
Not even Saliba.
They're right back. They're right back. I don't like. Well, if they play Valverde there, then no, because you can see what he brings to that team. If they play Vasquez, then yes, Ben White gets in there or Timber gets in there.
What about their left back?
If it's a fully fit team that we're talking about, Yeah, probably you could make an argument for our centre backs, and that's probably
Saliba or Gabriel, yeah.
You can make an argument for our centre backs. Yes, you could probably put. They got what's his name? Incensio. Was that centre back that they've got? The young guy.
Garcia. I don't know. Are you talking about Militao?
No, not Militao. Not Militao. Chat, help me out. What's that right back? I forgot his. How I forgot his name now?
The left back or the
no, the centre back. They got a centre back. A really good.
Is it Garcia?
Yeah, I think.
Or
Asensio. I was right. Asensio. Yeah.
There's another Asensio. Those guys.
You put Asensio next to
Raul Asensio. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought I was going crazy.
Is he brothers with the actual other Asensio?
Probably put Asensio. You know, I'll argue for. I think, bro, he's a cold centre back, bro. Like Asensio next to Saliba, maybe. You know, there's an argument for Gabriel to get in there. Other than that, no. Valverde gets in over Timber or Ben White. For me, you know what I mean? The midfield as well. Like for me, Camavinga's a baller. You know, even Ceballos, bro. I've been seeing Ceballos setting gate, bro. He's been doing really well for them. The way he controlled the tempo as well, I think against Man City. Rodrigo, you can say whatever you want about him. He's got over the line, and he's a big game player, which is something that we can't.
You know, Marcus is his brother, eh?
Huh?
Marcus is his brother.
Marcus is his brother.
Is it, or are they different?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
He does not have a brother named Marcus. Yeah, my bad. I googled it. I was tripping, but yeah.
Yeah, man.
You're saying my logic. The way I judge players is different to you. I just judge players solely on who I would rather have in my team over those two, and over it. Say if it was right now Saliba or Militao or this Raul Asensio guy or Saliba, I'd rather have Saliba. Gabriel, same thing over those guys. Now, Rudiger, since it's 50-50, I'll give Rudiger the edge. As for the left back, Mendy or whatever, or whoever they have at left back, I rate Timber better at left back. Also, the right back, I'll give Valverde right back for now. Midfield is where everyone makes fun of me. I don't know about you, but I rate Declan Rice higher than Tchouaméni and Camavinga.
You rate Declan Rice higher than
Camavinga, for example?
No, Camavinga, no. Tchouaméni, okay. You know, I don't think Tchouaméni's been to the height that was expected of him. But Camavinga, hell no. Not for me, bro.
Fair enough. If you disagree with that. As for Odegaard, I'm not putting him in this team. I'm not putting anybody else in this team. The last argument is Rodrigo and Saka. I say Saka's better player.
I say Rodrigo.
You're saying it based on moments that he's shown at Real Madrid?
Mentality, getting over the line. You can put numbers at me all the time, but this player performs in the crunch end of the season, something that Saka, none of these players perform. So I don't think you can overshadow that, bro. That's what makes you a champion, in my opinion. And I can't discredit a player that does that, bro.
Rodrigo's clutch, but I think Saka is a better passer. I think Saka's a better all-around player. I think Saka's shown more defensively also. Rodrigo might be a better eye for goal, and that is the clutch moments you're speaking about. But overall, Saka has shown a lot of good moments also. He just, unfortunately, we haven't won as a team, so those moments that he's shown aren't as memorable. I think Rodrigo comes into Arsenal. He might be clutch, but he's not going to be as good as Saka overall. And if Saka goes to Real Madrid, he brings more balance to that midfield, that front three. Imagine if they had Saka, Mbappe, and Vini. That's a lot more balance than Rodrigo, Saka, Mbappe, and Vini.
There's no point having all that talent if you don't produce on the highest level in the crunch end, isn't it?
And I think
you can have talent in the world, but if you don't shown it,
Saka shown in the World Cup, the Euros, in the Premier League, I think he's a better overall player.
Okay, I disagree.
Fair enough. As for Real Madrid, how do you think the tie is going to actually go?
I don't think they will slap us, but they will beat us. I don't think they will slap us because I feel like their form has been very up and down this season. I don't feel like they've been at the limit at their level. But one thing about Real Madrid, there's been so many seasons they've been like this. You know, at times where they're up and down and it looks like they're not really clicking. But you know one thing? That team always clicks together when it's a crunch end. When it's time to get the trophies over the line, that is the team that you can't is the one team in football, yeah, that you most likely cannot bet against. Because when it's time to deliver, they will turn up whether they're playing good or bad. And I don't feel like they've got a very experienced Ancelotti. Do you remember what Nuno said for Nottingham Forest when he said something? And Nuno's not even on the level of Ancelotti. He said, yo, when he was questioned after the game, Nottingham Forest, they said, oh, why didn't you pack out the midfield? He goes, I don't need to pack out the midfield. Arsenal were playing Moreno up front. Why do I need to pack out the midfield for? If a manager like that can figure us out, you think Ancelotti can't? The most decorated manager in Real Madrid's history, I think that's ridiculous, bro. You know what I mean? To think that Real Madrid are naive because we're playing them is crazy to me. And like I said, Real Madrid have not been that great. I watch End the Stream Dave, big up to my guy. You know what I'm saying? And I watch Real Madrid as you know, when I can. And they've not been that great. But that team is synonymous of, even if we're not good enough, we'll stink it out and we will turn up. You know, and when we need to deliver, they'll deliver, bro. The fans will get behind them and they'll deliver. They weren't, you know, they didn't play the greatest the first leg against Man City. Look at the turnaround in the second leg against Man City. They play like that, we are cooked. We are absolutely cooked, bro.
Arteta leaves tomorrow. Who do you want coming in?
We might as well get Simeone. We've got Berta. We might as well get Simeone.
Do you think we could prize him away from Atletico Madrid?
We can try. At least try.
There's not much loyalty left in football, but I do feel like he has a level of loyalty to that club.
He might want another challenge. We may have to use that. You know, do you want another challenge? Listen, we've backed Arteta like this. We're going to give you the same level of backing. You've got Berta that you've worked under and you've got along with. We spend money and we believe with the money that we'll give you, you'll be able to get over the line. Why not? Or go get Inzaghi. You know what I'm saying? Great Inter Milan team. You know what I'm saying? They've gotten into the Champions League final in recent years. They've won their league, gotten over the line. Why not? Why not?
It's just one. If you had to pick one, Arteta sacked tomorrow, who are you bringing in?
I'm bringing in Simeone. And if it doesn't work, sack him, get Inzaghi.
And then if it doesn't work with him, sack him and get another one.
Yeah.
You just want a revolving door.
If you think about it, Egal, yeah, the team is built. We can play three at the back. You can add Declan Rice to a back three. You've got Ben White and Timber. You can play them as wing backs. You've got the midfield where if you add a Barella and go and get a Barella and add that next to another DM, if you're adding Declan Rice, don't add Declan Rice as centre back and play him next to Barella. Go get a centre back. Then you can go and you've got Alex Baena. Then go get a striker. We've got a lot of defenders, innit? And we've got a good defense. So that is the basis that they make their teams off. And if it doesn't work with him, you can go get Inzaghi, bro. Do you know what I mean? Because Inzaghi plays a very similar formation or very similar style. So it actually suits the way the team has been built now. So I don't feel like they need humongous change and get rid of everyone. That's why when people tell me, oh, don't get rid of Arteta because we have to start again. Well, why do you need to start again? You can get a manager that fits the basis of this team and adds to that and has the experience to get over the line. Why not? Why do you need to rip it up? I never understood people saying you have to rip it up. I don't get it. It's not like we're completely shit. We're not completely shit. We're just not good enough to win major honors. So go and add that. So that's why I don't agree when people are like, you have to keep Arteta. Why? There's two managers I've picked that could work with this squad and add better. Because they're not going to keep a Fabio Vieira. They're not going to keep a Lokonga Tavares. They'll get rid of these bums. They'll get rid of Jorginho and all that. But they've got a basis that they can work on. Why can't they? And these managers have proven when they're back, they get over the line. This is why I don't understand why people are so adamant that Arteta. Bro, people are like this with Wenger. People are like this with Wenger. You know, they told me that we can't get nobody in football because we have to keep Wenger. But now these men are keeping the same energy.
Do you understand why certain people have some certain set of loyalty to Arteta?
Do you know, you said something at the start of the show, yeah, about younger fans. You said about younger fans haven't seen better, yeah?
Yeah.
But these same younger fans keep talking to me about Invincibles and about when we've done league doubles, yeah? I saw those winning campaigns, yeah? So they may have not seen it, but they celebrate it. So if you celebrate it, the fans that were there to see it, maybe they actually have a point when they tell you what it takes to see what you need in a team to get over the line. Maybe because they were there to see the Invincibles.
Do you think the fans are the reason why we're not winning as a club? Do you think the reason why Arsenal's not winning is really down to the fans?
100%. 100%. Because Because as fans, we tell as fans, you tell the club what you want. Now, the club may act, they may not. Yeah, but most of the time, you can force a club to act. Yeah, I'm obviously my family are Portuguese. I saw what Sporting did because their fans had enough of 20 years of not winning a title. Yeah, and they went on to win a title. We saw Ajax kick up a fuss. Fans have a lot of power. People that say fans don't have a power, you weren't saying this when everybody was trying to get rid of the Super League. When we was getting rid of the Super League, what got rid of the Super League, bro? It weren't the ownerships because a lot of the ownerships wanted
bro,
to do
it was the Sky Sports agenda.
Fans, bro. It was the fans that got rid of that.
It was really the Premier League and the TV brand Sky Sports working in cahoots to get to trigger the fans to rise up. Let's be honest. They were all over the TV saying, we have to stop this. They were
fans got a lot of power, Egal. Do you remember when the Man United fans stormed the stadium? All of a sudden, they started buying in players, yeah, and they started all of a sudden fixing up real quick, yeah? But they didn't keep that up, bro. Do you know what I mean?
How about this? Chelsea fans.
Who kicked out Wenger? Who kicked out Wenger?
Chelsea fans are the reason.
Who kicked out Wenger? Who kicked out Wenger? The fans not turning up, and the fans, the minority.
The fans kicked out Emery also.
We got him kicked out. The fan base
kicked out Emery also.
Huh?
We kicked out Emery also, but
so the fans don't have power.
But one thing I will say is, fans don't always get it right. Because if it was only down to fans, we would have James Maddison on the squad right now, and Basuma and friggin' Emi Buendia.
Maddison's better than Fabi Vieira.
No, but I'm just saying, like, sometimes the club gets things right that we don't know. For example, we would have friggin' Buendia and friggin' what's it called? Emerson Royale and all. Basically, the fans get attached to the first transfer target that we're linked to. And the club really do sometimes have targets that they don't tell us about. But when it comes to the signings and the ambition, I do agree with you. There is a level of ambition that needs to be had from the top down. And I do think there's been a disconnect in the past. But right now, I do think the club is a little bit better. And the club has healed a little bit since the Arsene Wenger days. And we've improved. And we've now raised to a level where we need to start delivering, or else you're going to be right. This is going to be what we're happy with. And I don't think that's ever going to be the case for me. I'm not happy with where we are. I want to win. As much as people think I'm just an Arteta guy. Bro, how many times have I had conversations with you? To me, it's not about Arteta. It's just I believe in him as a manager, that I am not willing to give up on him and the situation we're currently in.
But
the moment I do,
what do you believe about him? Because
Arteta has inspired me into believing that this team can go back and win major honors again. I didn't think before the team and the squad was capable of competing at this level with what we had to our disposal back then. He's not only built the defense, he's built the team in an image which I've wanted, building from the defense forward. And the goal of building from the defense forward is finally adding that attacking piece to the end of the puzzle. And I'm waiting for them to add the attacking piece to the end of the puzzle. Once they've added the attacking pieces to this team, and from there we don't see the same level of success that I want, at that point, I can no longer believe in the project, because he's then addressed all the key areas that I've asked him to address. Up until that point, I've always backed him, and I believe that he's just missing those single couple pieces. This season, why I believe we could have won the league even without the striker signings is because I believe Mikel Arteta found a formula at the back end of last season that was so successful at breaking down mid blocks and low blocks that we were able to batter all the smaller teams, and we're still being able to get the good results for the bigger teams. But
how do I know that in next season? Because you've said something, yeah, that Arteta hasn't been given all the pieces. As far as we know, he was very heavily involved and had the final say, his words, the final say in Havertz coming here. He had the final word in Jesus coming here. He had the final, just like the rest of the players. He's had the final word on a lot of these players coming here, which is why we've been playing this style of play, because we've been getting players to his project, to the style of play that he wants. Yeah. How do I know that next season, Egal, and this is the problem I have with you, next season, when it comes crashing down, that I believe that we're not going to win. Let's just say we don't win. I believe we ain't going to win it, but we don't win anything. How do I know you're not going to stand here at the same time next season saying, yeah, but northside, He wasn't given the money in the summer to get a striker. How do I know you're not going to say that? Because he was given the money for Havertz. He never complained about Havertz. He never complained when he got Jesus, and neither of these strikers have been good enough. He never complained when he got 100 plus million to spend on Declan Rice. Why is he sanctioning such a big amount of money like that on a DM when we needed a striker since we got rid of Aubameyang, which you agreed to yesterday on my show? You said we didn't, and I agree. We didn't go and get proper replacement for Aubameyang. Yet you're breaking the transfer record for a defensive midfielder. Why did he go and get players that he deemed not good enough? We learned that Lokonga. This is all money, bro. This all adds up. We went for about five goalkeepers. We've gone through numerous left backs. We've got numerous defensive players, bro, that have been brought into the club. We've got players out on loan that haven't been good enough. Why are you spending money on these players that you deem we had what Lokonga and Nuntavaj out on loan, Nottingham Forest and Luton, a couple of seasons ago, and they deemed them not good enough. They had the option to buy them. They deemed them not good enough. This is why I don't like squad players, because it doesn't do anything for what your team is now. You talk a lot about Chelsea. Same critique with Chelsea. They didn't finish the squad and they started buying players to rotate and for the future. And then you look at their squad now. They're struggling. They're saying they got to sell because they haven't got the money to address key areas. This is why I don't trust this manager, Egal, because you're buying and wasting money on players that you don't deem good enough. Marquinhos just went back out on loan. Why did we spend money on him? We could have even got him on a free.
Marquinhos was a waste of money laundering. At this point, Northside, I agree with you. We have had poor recruitment. I'm not putting all that on the manager. What I am going to put on the manager is forget about everything that's happened in the past. This season has not worked out for us the way that we wanted to work out. Going into the summer, I need to see rectification and certain areas being improved on. If we go into next season not strong enough, and we go into next season and we don't win again, at that point, there's no more hiding. There's no more excuses. There's no more covering from the board, covering from Edu's incompetence, covering from the fact that we haven't gotten the experience of challenging. We haven't been there before. The first season, we haven't been there before. The second season, what was the issue? We went to the final day and we just got beat by the better team. This season, we got riddled with injuries. Next season, at this point, there's no more excuses, bro. That's just a reality for me. If you and at this point, it's not even about staying on my word anymore. Some people, my word doesn't mean shit because I change my mind all the time, and that's the honest truth. But at this moment in time, I don't think I'm going to be changing my mind anymore on this. I think it's going to have to be a hard stance. Next season is the final season for Arteta. If we win, he keeps his job and we keep moving. If we don't win, it gets to a point where you have to start looking elsewhere. And the stability of Arteta is no longer about stability. At that point, it's just going to be stagnation, because I don't view this season. I think there's been many different reasons why he gets to keep it another season, and one of those main factors might be Edu being the fall guy, injuries being the fall guy, and that's the honest truth, bro. From the board perspective, from a fan perspective, injuries, Edu leaving, and of course a little bit of other things that we can't control are going to be the reason why he stays. But next season, regardless what happens, people are going to have their eyes on Arteta and Arteta alone. And as a person who wants the manager to succeed, I'll keep it real with you. It doesn't matter what happens. If there's injuries again, it's going to fall on him. If there's issues again, it's going to fall on him and what they did to prepare for those issues. Because we've now had 3 different seasons, different scenarios. We cannot repeat again. This season, the only reason why I'm believing there's going to be a difference is because now we have a new boardroom directors in Barton coming in, and that's one piece of change. There's no more people to be changed. They got rid of Edu. They got rid of the directors. Even Vinay left, for God's sakes. The guy you used to laugh about his name. Even he's gone. The only person left is Bukayo Saka, who's doing an amazing job, by the way, with the academy. We have to admit. He's doing an amazing job with the academy. And then there's Arteta. So, yeah, for as much as I love the guy and he's done a wonderful job the last couple of years, at that point, wallahi, there's nothing I can do. He's going to have to go. And he might have to be the only person who can go to refresh the squad if by the end of the season. And I don't want to move on from Saka. I don't want to move on from Gabriel. I don't want to move on from Saliba. I think the next most expendable piece, if we don't go and succeed next season, is going to have to be Arteta and Odegaard, the captain. Those are the two people that I look at as expendable.
Okay.
And we can agree on that. Cool.
I don't think those three players, Saliba, Gabriel, and Saka, they're not the problem. They're not the problem. For me, I'd get rid of him now. You want to give him another year? I want to get rid of him now. I hope you stick to your words, because listen, as much as I don't agree with your opinion, you got a lot of subscribers, a lot of people that do listen to your opinion. And the same way, if Arteta was to win the league, you'll be like, northside, what did you say? You didn't. But the same way you'd hold me to my words, I'm going to hold you to your words. And ultimately, bro,
if you know me, I wouldn't come gloating to you. I'll just be like, let's celebrate.
The whole internet knows anyway, so I'll be busy celebrating the title. Saying, yeah, I'm so glad I'm wrong, because deep down, all I want is
You'll be vaping outside for once.
I just want the club to be successful, bro. And I've said this on my channel before.
Me too, man. But people think I just want us to. People think I would just care about Arteta. It's not that. I believe in the manager, so I'm going to stick to the manager, where you guys don't, and you guys are going to stick to your gun and wanting him sacked and believe.
No, but the thing is, we will go against anyone in this club if it means that they're not being ambitious enough or doing their job. I think that's the difference with us. With me anyway. Let me speak for myself. If Saka doesn't perform, I want him out. If Gabriel doesn't perform, I want him out. If Saliba doesn't perform, I don't want him out, because I put the club itself.
And if they don't perform, you know what I'm going to say? Give them a chance, because I believe they have it in them to get back to where they were. I'm always optimistic. Also, I'm another person. When other people are talking shit about my player, I don't let them talk shit. I make sure I let them know, what the fuck do you have at your house? Check yourself out before you come talking to me. Where you guys are like,
I used to speak like that when we'd get over the line, and that's when I feel like the club gives you the right to be like, hold on, because it would be a very different.
Bro, Chelsea don't have the right to talk shit to me right now. Man United fans don't have the right to talk shit to me.
But hold on. Them at their worst, they're still winning European trophies. In their worst errors,
No, it wasn't their worst.
Let's be real. Man United at their worst are still lifting Europa League. We're getting embarrassed in Baku. That's the difference. In Chelsea's worst, they're lifting the Champions League. In their worst. This
Not
is why
in their worst. Come on. They won the Champions League, then stripped the whole squad. That's not their worst. That's like us winning the Invincibles. That's like us winning the Invincibles and selling all our players.
Bro, from the Mourinho era to now, they're still lifting trophies that we're not lifting. That is my point. When you look at, not the Mourinho era, because that was their golden era, the Mourinho era, etc. But when they started falling off from the standards that we saw from the start of Roman being there, that's a fall off to the standards that they had with Roman. They were still lifting trophies that we don't. We've been in the doldrums for 20 years, lifting FA Cups. We used to be the champions of FA Cups. We're not even the champions of FA Cups anymore. That's how much we've fallen off even to that standard. Because this is why I can't flip-flop within myself. Because I look at it like, I've got to look at myself in the mirror, innit? I want Wenger gone because FA Cup wasn't good enough anymore. Sorry, bro, not good enough. I can't then sit here and say, Arteta, you've been given more money than Wenger. Your player ID most of the time is worse than Wenger. You don't have a stadium to pay off like Wenger. And yet you can't get over the line. Hold on. The whole reason people were keeping Wenger in a job, the fan base, is because they were saying, but we're paying off the stadium. The Cronkies paid it off. It was like 200 M's. They paid it off. And Wenger was losing his best players every year. This manager ain't losing. Bro, if this was the Wenger era, the last 10 years, Saliba would have been gone. Gabriel would have been gone. Saka been gone. You're not doing that. You're still holding on to your best core players. And yet you can't get me over the line. And yet, but the manager that was working with peanuts, and the manager that had to pay off a stadium, and the manager that didn't have all this backing, I kept that energy with him. I'm not going to keep it with Arteta. Sorry, bro. Wenger's a legend. Arteta, you're not a legend, and you're not under the same circumstances.
Well, what do you say when I tell you, there's going to be potential instability if we bring in another manager? It's not guaranteed you're going to win.
And when we was winning a lot of those FA Cups, if you remember correctly, for about 80 to 90% of those competitions, in the FA Cup or Carabao Cup, we were using the youth players. That's how good Wenger was at identifying talent. We were using youth players and fringe players. You know what we do now?
Now we're using youth players to help us in a title race.
But the youth players ain't the majority of the squad. The youth players were the majority of those squads, and they were still getting to semi-finals and finals, and they were still getting over the line. Now we've got Ethan outperforming Sterling. We've got flipping Skelly outperforming Calafiori. Come on, bro.
That's a good thing.
Not the same. When Wenger was buying
He's
players,
saving us millions.
he was getting Haleb. Diaby was unfortunate because of injuries, because he was actually
he was a baller, man. I wish he stayed fit.
Exactly. Rosicky, Podolski. Look at even with the small budget. This is why people need to.
No, but you know what? One thing about Arsene Wenger, he had credit when he did his recruitment. You don't rate Arteta's recruitment. I get it.
Well, our two youth academy players are playing better than the two players that he recruited.
Hey, Martín Zubimendi is doing a good job. Give him credit.
So what are you telling me? He's better at player development than Arteta, yeah? Than Super Duper Mick?
Martín Zubimendi is doing an amazing job with the Arsenal Academy. It doesn't get mentioned enough.
It sounds like even he's better at development than Arteta.
Hey, why can't you say something nice instead of just always flipping it on something bad about Arteta?
He's still young enough to go manage in the MLS.
Hey, if Arteta goes somewhere else, if Arteta was available today, every club in Europe is coming knocking.
No.
Every club.
No.
Every club in Europe is coming knocking. I think Arteta.
Are you mad? Juventus are in the mud, yeah? Juventus right now looking crazy, yeah? What's going on?
Juventus would take Arteta in 2 seconds.
No, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't.
Bro, Mota's shit, and you guys were gassing him up 2 weeks ago.
And they ain't coming in for Arteta. I guarantee you that.
Best believe nobody wants Arteta right now because Arsenal have said we're giving him a $15 million deal. Nobody can touch him. He's untouchable.
Nobody, not even Benfica. And you probably don't rate Benfica that highly, yeah? But they're the most successful team in Portugal. Benfica wouldn't even come. We got back a manager that won us the league. He's there, yeah? We've been booing him the whole season. Not just me, everyone, because obviously I'm Portuguese, yeah? When he was announced, everyone booed him saying, nah, he ain't good enough, yeah? And they were cussing him. Do you know why they were cussing him, bruv? Yeah? Because you ain't been good enough, bro. And the way you embarrassed us against Barcelona, not one Benfica fan said it's a journey to be proud of. Not one, bro. And that's why that club is successful in Portugal. Because
I'm going to have to wrap it up here. We're going to have to do this again.
You can't win the Champions League, win in Portugal. That's what they say.
No, it's not. I'm going to have to wrap it up here. Gone 16 minutes over. We're going to have to do this again another time. Hopefully everyone enjoyed this. It's been a double header, back to back. Yes, and if you haven't checked out his channel, go do that. We did a video yesterday where we spoke about a completely different topic. We spoke about Saliba, Trent, and just other stuff. Some of the bench, your favorite topic, the bench. I'm telling you, get merch and put the bench on there, because you love talking about the bench more than anything else. But yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next one, guys. Peace out. Big up, Northside. Appreciate it.